that they're thinking that they could easily have another 4 or 5 goals if some of those little misses had gone the other way.
Boyer's been really sharp from the beginning, set the tone early with a couple of stops. One in particular I can remember on Gutterding. Here is Cerrone who bounces that one past the cage, but Gutterding is there to back it up. Gutterding with Jones on him. Fires that one to the back of the net. 2 on the day for Gutterding, and the Blue Devils are back within 2.
And when you're down 3 goals and you really need one, it's great to be able to go to your best offensive player and give him the ball and let him make a play like that. Just a really tremendous effort there from Gutterding.
We'll have a timeout with under 8 minutes to go, 7:47 to be exact. 3 points on the day for Gutterding. 2 goals and 1 assist. As you mentioned, exactly what the Blue Devils needed at this point. Gutterding, a preseason All-ACC nominee. 6 feet, 185 pounds, out of Garden City, New York. And obviously the next thing on the docket for Duke is a face-off win by Kyle Rowe, and Air Force will try to prevent that from happening.
I'm sure we'll see Air Force come back out in that same position or that same setup they were in the last face-off. You know, with Duke already having 1 goal coming directly from the face-off, and Air Force still having the lead. You know, they have no reason to try and do anything too aggressive coming out of this next face-off, and I'm sure that their main goal is to just turn it into another loose ball scrap situation and have their midfielders ready to cut off any fast break that Duke would get if they did win the face-off cleanly.
It's interesting. Typically, if you were to say one team would have more than twice as many face-off wins and more than twice as many ground balls, that team would be in pretty good shape. Unfortunately for the Blue Devils, not the case today as they trail by 2 despite dominating in both of those statistics, as you can see what's coming up for Duke on the schedule.
Absolutely, and I think tonight the difference has been the goalie play for Air Force has been really, really phenomenal, and Duke's shooting touch or shot placement, whatever you want to call it, just there's been a little bit missing there. That's is what's created this lead here for Air Force, and is why Duke doesn't have more points on the board.
See 3 of those upcoming 5 games on ACC Network Extra. .47 on the clock. Rowe and Marjanovic head to the X. We'll see what kind of placement the wings find themselves in. 2 poles on for Air Force. Duke electing to go with 1 long stick and 1 short stick. That in and of itself tells you a little bit about Air Force's strategy.
What the advantage that gives Air Force, they're going to have more long poles in there fighting for that ground ball. But if Duke is able to win the ball forward or win the ball and get the ball down on offense, they might be able to find a mismatch.
Bodies down for both teams. We'll see which way it goes. It'll be Duke possession. Teams needing to make sure this is a restart off a face-off is ripe for substitution issues. So both teams taking their time here, making sure that they've got the correct personnel on, they've got the right numbers on.
Neither team wants to give away this possession, with a substitution error. Every little play in this game is becoming so important with time winding down and the score still so close.
Prendergast, full head of steam, draws the slide. Here is Smith, thought about the lefty shot, tries to feed it down low to Gutterding, who eventually gets it and fires it over the shoulder of Boyer.
Another goal by Gutterding, and this one a little different than the last one here. A little bit of a mishandle there on the initial feed, but able to corral that ball and bury it.
Well, not exactly how the Blue Devils drew it up. Wasn't the smoothest conversion, but it counts the same on the scoreboard. Gutterding, after having some trouble finding seams through Paxton Boyer, has found the scoring touch. And he's got a hat trick now this afternoon, just that quickly. It's 11-10 here in the 4th. It seemed for all the world, Jack, like Air Force was getting ready to put this one to bed, but back come the Blue Devils.
Absolutely. A game of runs. We keep saying it, and they keep proving it. Justin Gutterding, just proving that a little bit of momentum, and all of a sudden the ball starts going your way and bouncing your way.
Rowe with the face-off win. Aggressive ride for Air Force. Here's Giles Harris.
We haven't seen too much pressure from either team on the ride so far this game. and Air Force looks like they're trying to amp it up right now, and might have paid off.
Tough pass from Brian Dunn. Prendergast couldn't corral it. That one's into the feet. And it looks like they might get Van Raphorst for the push. It'll be Air Force ball. 6:37 to go, so the Blue Devils had possession, down 1, but could not connect on the pass. Can Air Force take advantage?
Air Force is going to want to milk this possession for as long as they possibly can. We've already seen them take some long possessions tonight, so they're going to move the ball around, and I'd be surprised if they took a shot before we saw a stall warning from the referees.
Tien, 2 goals on the afternoon. Ruby with 4, matching his jersey number. Van Raphorst watching him. Now it's Zenker, the short stick, having to try to manage things. Smith trying to take advantage of that matchup. Draws the slide. Space and time for Tien. Gets his hands free. Dumps it down low, though. Elects not to shoot it. Now it's Walsh.
That was an opportunity there for Tien to...
Yeah, I'm surprised Tien didn't pull the trigger, quite honestly, on that one.
I'm thinking that Air Force really is trying to slow this possession down here. Otherwise, we've seen them take some shots earlier tonight that weren't nearly as quality in terms of where they were being taken from as Tien just had there.
Smith draws the slide. Here's Tien again. Here's Ward. Terry Lindsay watches him. Ruby now with Zenker. Good matchup for Air Force. And that's certainly saying nothing disparaging about Zenker, but that short stick, Ruby's got to have some wide eyes. Draws the slide from Van Raphorst. The pole. That one is whipped into Dunn, and Fowler is quick off his line to try to corral the loose ball.
An interesting shot there for Air Force to go with after being so patient and waiting so long on that possession. That might have just opened the door back up for Duke to get back into this game.
Important clear here, needless to say. It was done last time. They couldn't quite connect on the pass. In the middle of the field, Zenker. Hacked at by Smith, but no big deal there. Lindsay gets it to Brad Smith. 4:20 on the clock. Duke trails by 1. This is where you start to see this early in the season who the coaches have the most trust in.
Absolutely, and we've seen it the last 2 possessions. Justin Gutterding has been the one to take control, so I would look for him to get a dodge here or for the ball to end up in his stick at the end of a dodge.
Here's Smith. That one's into the legs of Manone. Tough pass, just trickling toward the end line. Massive bodies, huge ground ball. Whistle blows. And it'll stay with the Blue Devils. Manone comes up gimpy there. I can imagine how many slashes he took across the leg with that ball available.
A very tough play there by the freshman to get over it at the end line and make sure he had position on it to draw those slashes.
Sean Lowry back on there now for Duke as Manone tries to shake it off. Smith, the lefty bounce shot. More metal for Duke. That's at least 3 or 4 pipes. 3:20 on the clock. Blue Devils trailing by 1. Good look there at Brad Smith, the sophomore, part of the U19 USA team. Gold medalist. Sun has basically cast a shadow almost over the entire stadium. Just a sliver of sunlight on the Duke defensive side of midfield. Here's Prendergast drawing the slide. And then tosses that pass away. Should not be too much of an issue. And it isn't for Cerrone. Cerrone out there with Smith and Prendergast. Dishes it over to Smith. Oh, what a pass by Smith. And that one's off the post. Boyer got a huge piece of it, and it just rolled into the post on what looked like a no-look pass from Cerrone. And now, of course, the Duke Blue Devils will try an aggressive ride here. Can the Falcons get a clear they need? 9 for 11 on the afternoon thus far.
Boyer just standing on his head there in goal. An unbelievable job stopping Jack Bruckner, one of the game's better finishers from point-blank range. Got just enough of it to make it hit that pipe.
2:22 on the clock.
Duke's going to have to push out here and apply a little pressure on this Air Force offense with only 2 minutes and 15 seconds left in this game.
Yeah, Air Force won't be able to simply run out the clock. It's just not the nature of the game anymore. It's not even a keep-it-in situation. There is a shot clock now in lacrosse. You have to put something on cage. It's a matter of when the officials elect to turn that shot clock on. In the meantime, Smith and Van de Ven get together. See how Air Force elects to treat this minute 48. Van de Ven containing Smith, now drawing the slide from Van Raphorst. Down to the ground,